look at all of the dust out. It's amazing just how much dust is in the air. Right now I'm headed to a buddy's house to pick up some lowering springs for the front of the GTO. I might grab the rear too, just to see what it looks like. But I also have some drag shocks that should be delivered today. Some Pedders drag shocks for the rear. And I'm gonna put those on, maybe do a little instructional video on how to do that. It's pretty easy, but I figured it probably wouldn't hurt to make a video on it, since some of y'all might not have done it before. She pulls good though. Not bad for a stock car. Looks like we got a Focus ST behind us that's keeping up. Not today, bud. Not today. I will never get tired of that sound. Got all the suspension stuff loaded up. Now we're gonna go install it, see how it looks. I'll probably just end up doing the front first and the shocks and seeing how that looks. And then maybe if I still have time, I might try putting the springs on the rear, just because they're so easy. All right, so what we have going on today is Pedders drag shocks, some used AG springs on some used struts. I would just take these off and put them on line, but since they're already on those, I'll just throw those on and save me some time. And then, if everything goes well, I'll put these on the rear. They look pretty much brand new. So, yeah, let me get the car on the rack, and then I'll start getting the tools together, see what I need, and go from there. All right, so I think I'm gonna start with the rears. So I've got the wheels and tires off. What I'm gonna do first, oh, and by the way, these are Jegs Sport Stars 15 by 8 with 5.5 back spacing. And I've got a Nitto 555R with a size on that is a 275/50/15. I'm just amazed. I'm really impressed with these wheels. They're super lightweight, and a lot of people have issue fitting 15s on the back because they have to shave down the banjo bolt. But I didn't have that issue. I just threw them on there and it worked perfectly the first time. So I don't know if it's just a factor of what wheel you're using, but these fit on the back of the car, no modifications needed. Super easy. Definitely impressed with them. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to compress the shock here a little bit to make getting the bolt out a little bit easier. And once that's out, this lower control arm is going to be able to sag, and I'll be able to pull the spring out. Super easy. The current rear suspension setup is stock shocks and Lovells stock height springs. So we're going to see, once I take the shock out from both the lower and upper mount, I'm going to put in the lowering spring in the back and the drag shock as well. So yeah, let's get to it. So the technique I always use is I just step on it here and push down and reach under and just pull the spring out. Super easy. You're going to want to make sure that you keep your spring seats, but that's it. Easy as that. So once you got that out, you can disconnect the shock up here. It's super easy to see in my car because I've totally gutted the interior, but you'll break that top nut loose and you'll be able to take that all the way off. And then you'll be able to take the shock right out. Super easy. So if you're anything like me, you don't weigh anything. So pushing down on this to put the new one in can be kind of challenging. So I just got a friend to step on it while I seated the spring. The other thing that I did was I just hand threaded the bolt into the lower shock mount before I cut the thing. You don't have to, but it's just kind of cool to cut it and then just let it go right into place. So I'm gonna compress this with the jack here, and then I'll put that top bolt on and tighten it down. All right, so rear is done. I'm gonna wait to show until I get all of it done. I took a quick little peek and it looks pretty sweet already. Next is the front. So the front is gonna be a little bit more complicated, just because we're gonna have to take off all of these brake parts here and these shot tie rod ends. But it's going to be a lot easier because I don't have to worry about compressing the spring at all and getting it to fit on there, because that's already done. We have a tool for that here at the shop, but I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to throw those. So let me get over here, get my tools moved, and get that air moved, because it is getting hot. So now that we've gotten this disconnected, obviously this is a worn out component, and I will be addressing that at some point here in the near future. But now that we've got that disconnected, we're going to disconnect these brake lines, and this one right here, you have to twist it and push it out. I'm probably going to need 2 hands for it, but that's if it's not coming out at first, that's why it does that. Show you here. On these, you see it's got, it's wider in the center than it is at the entrance to the hole. You'll just have to twist the line and push it out. But once we've done that, I disconnected it here. We're going to bring the car back down and use our jack again to compress the shock a little bit to get the weight off of these bolts, because we don't want these shearing if we try and hammer them out. We want to be able to reuse these, so we want there to be as little weight, because the entire weight of the lower control arm and the hub and brakes and all of that is pulling down on these bolts, making them impossible to push out. So we're going to compress this and knock those out, and then we'll undo the strut at the top, and it'll just fall right out, no problem. So as you're working on older, worn out suspension components, one thing that oftentimes gives people a lot of trouble is these ball joints here for various, whether it be outer tie rod ends or sway bar end links and just stuff like that. As they get older and worn out, light here, when you're trying to take them off, they'll do this whole number in here where they'll spin and you can't loosen them. What we like to do here is take a prying tool. That won't work. Take a prying tool and apply some pressure to the back of the joint. Probably in this case we'll do it maybe like this, and that'll provide some pressure so that you can get the nut off the end of that bolt. Now, I do have my little air pom-pom thing, cut out wind noise. So that's, if you see something up here, that's what that is. I need to get a smaller one, but depending on your set of circumstances, you might be doing things in a different order than me. This isn't the only way to do it. It's just the way I do it. So a lot of time what I like to do is on the jack, put a piece of wood or something underneath, at least for the fronts, underneath here, so you don't damage any of the brake components. It would probably be okay as long as you didn't mar the surface of your rotor, but I just like to be safe and put something that's softer than metal under there so it doesn't damage anything. So I forgot, since I haven't done front struts on one of these cars in 4 years, that in order to take these bolts out, on the back side, here, if you can see, that's the caliper bolt right there. Of course, you can't back that out without taking the front caliper off. So what time you saved with the ease on the back side, you make up for with having to take the front caliper off. What are you gonna do? All right, so got the new strut in, got the bolt started so it holds itself up. Right here, what I like to normally do is get the lower bolt first and then pivot the whole knuckle up in to the top bolt. Again, there's probably other ways of doing it, but that's just how I do it. Well, that's it, finished. I just need to do a couple little maintenance things, and then I'll drop it down, we'll pull it out to the street and see how it looks. It's going to take a little while for the suspension to fully compress, but I think we should be seeing a pretty big difference. All right, we are finished, and let me say, phew, it is pretty low. See here, we got like just enough clearance for these 19-inch wheels. Back here, we don't have any. It does rub a little bit. I rolled the fenders a little bit previously, but it's not enough just because of the profile here. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is cutting the inner lip out and pulling it. Either that, or I'll put my Lovells stock height springs back on, which might be a good idea anyway, because when I end up putting 90-10 drag struts on the front, it's going to want to squat a little bit more, and it'd be nice to have that extra bit of travel before I end up having any coil bind issues. But it looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, for being the first ever appearance only mod. It definitely needed it. What?
Are they recording?
No, absolutely not. That's what that.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and bring you the.
I'm not gonna cut that out. I'm just gonna leave it in.
I'd please cut that out.
We'll see. What do you think? Is it steez enough? Too much steez? Not enough? I don't know what that word means, but
Steez.
yeah, it's like cool, I think.
Can you restart the recording, because I don't want that to be in there.
I'll cut it.
Thank you.
I will cut it. But I'm going to leave all of this part where we're talking about it, so it's going to be super mysterious.
Okay, I can live with that.
Okay. Are you subscribed yet?
You have a YouTube channel?
That's all, folks.